These are just a few Middle Eastern fragrances I have recently added to my collection. Hello, my name is Ajua, and I hope this video finds you well. If you are new to this place, kindly consider subscribing. And to all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support and welcome back. So 3 weeks ago, I remember introducing Anna Biat Scarlet on this channel. I reviewed it, gave you my thought about it. I love this fragrance. It is barely 3 weeks and I'm almost done with this one. It's a very beautiful fragrance. I'm doing a whole video. That is the theme for today, a whole video. And of course, I had to get myself a second bottle of Anna Biat Scarlet. It is my favorite Anna Biat yet. I love the poudre. I love the rouge. I am white. It's never been a favorite. I am white, ever pura. I don't like it at all. The leather, I have a decant. I like. It's not a love for me. But Scarlet is the most beautiful, as I would describe it, in my opinion, or to my nose. A beautiful cherry, dark cherry, slightly jammy, syrupy, sweet, rose, roasted. It feels like a dry roasted rose with the makeup-y old school vibe. There's something very quite sexy, and alluring about it. And it's been barely 3 weeks, and I knew I had to get myself a backup bottle of this. I'm almost done with the original bottle I got. So here we are, another bottle of Anna Biat Scarlet. And what I want to do is, before I finish the previous bottle, I just want to let it age for a while. So I'm just going to spray a few things out and then put it back at the back of my shelf and let it mature. It's not a super strong fragrance. It's modest or moderate, when it comes to longevity. Longevity is good. I think it lingers on your clothes, but it's not a beast mode, fragrance. But I love how it performs. It's very sultry. It pulls off beautiful on my skin. On dresses, they last, So I'm just going to let this one sit as this one. I get through this, I don't want to be without it, So this is my second bottle of Anna Biat Scarlet. I enjoy the scent profile. It makes me feel beautiful. It makes me feel expressive, very bold and confident smelling. It's not super unique. I wouldn't exaggerate and say it's the most unique thing I have smelled. No, it is not. But there's something very alluring and sexy about the scent profile. Not necessarily the most common DNA. I have personally not smelled this one in a lot of DNAs. I think if you have something like hibiscus mahajad, it puts you in a similar mind frame. Something like meringue, juicy melange from Paris Corner gives me quite a similar feel, but that is much more fruity. Those are the two fragrances I can sort of compare them in a way to this, although this one gives me a more sexy vibe, a much more wearable one, gives me that feel. So this is my second bottle of Anna Biat Scarlet. This is going to just take me one more way. I think I've worn this one like 5 times and it's almost out. So here we go with the second bottle. I don't like the fact that it is 60 ml. It should have been like 80, 85 ml at least, But for the price that this one is going for, we can't really complain. So this is my second bottle of Anna Biat Scarlet. I love this. You can blind buy this, it is blind buy worthy. I know not everybody is going to fall for it, but if you love that La Rose, Fetiche La Rose, which I have not smelled yet, but I understand it is quite a good dupe. This is quite a good dupe of it. I love it. I simply adore this fragrance. And I wouldn't say I've had the most compliments on my previous bottle. I think I've had just one, maybe one compliment, but I love enjoying it on myself. I guess sometimes, you just wear it for yourself, not necessarily fishing out for compliments. The compliments are a bonus, but I love it. So I had to get myself this particular bottle. And I also spoke about one with my friend, Portia, that I did I wouldn't say collaboration. I did a few videos with her. There's one more we did that I'll have to work on and post. But this is from Valor or Voler, and it's Grandioso, from the Grandioso collection, and this is Vanilla Floral. This to me is good. In my previous unboxing that we did, we tested it. It didn't really stand out as anything impressive or super unique. It's been known to be inspired by Guerlain's Vanilla Panophilia I might be wrong with that name, Um, it's a sort of vanilla, vanilla panophilia or whatever. It's a sort of vanilla. And I sort of get it, it's supposed to be this sort of bourbon, boozy vanilla. I get it. I get all that bourbon, boozy vanilla with the musk and what I perceive as ginger. I remember doing the unboxing and I thought there was something quite minty and spicy. And the more it sits, the more I perceive it as ginger. Although the note structure doesn't include anything ginger, I think the notes for this includes bourbon, vanilla, extract CO2 of bourbon, vanilla, and then spices, musk, and amber. But it's quite boozy, and the vanilla is quite sharp, but also soft at the same time. This fragrance is very soft. It's at the beginning you are met with the spices, but as it dries down, it becomes much more softer, a little more gentle. It is not harsh or screechy at all. It's got a very beautiful opening, but there's something about the spice that meets you immediately, and there's something I get which gives me ginger for the most part. That is what I get, although the note structure doesn't include anything ginger. But this is a very beautiful aromatic, spicy, gingery, pepper feel. There's this pink, not pink pepper. I get ginger for the most part, and then the bourbon boozy vanilla comes through. And I remember comparing this one to, I didn't compare, but I said it reminded me of Goliath's oath from Paris Corner. It sort of gives me a very similar feel, but this one feels a lot more spicy, but it's in the same sort of family, but I feel this one is like the softer, much more feminine, although unisex, to me. Because of that, what which I perceive as ginger, it makes it more unisex in my opinion. It's beautiful and quite soft and gentle, but it has not blown me away. I wouldn't say it's blown me away. I think I watched Wendy Wise. Wendy Wise was the first person who introduced this on YouTube that I saw, and she spoke highly about it. I agree. It's very beautiful, and she mentioned the fact that it is a good interpretation of the original fragrance. So I would like to go with that, and that particular fragrance, vanilla planophilia, whatever, excuse my English, it's known to be a very prestigious, scent, highly spoken about with the price tag out of my, my pocket, So I was expecting a lot more. Even my friend Ya and I were a little underwhelmed initially, but I think it's a very beautiful scent. It is quite different from the normal foodie vanillas. I think that is what I enjoy about this. It lingers, it is quite soft and beautiful. It's spicy, gingery. If I'm the only one picking up ginger, let me know because I'm not sure how many people have this. But if you have this one and you also pick up something like a ginger sort of feel, just let me know. But that is the most spice I get from it with the boozy bourbon vanilla, not musky, a little slightly woody, that ambery feel. It's not thick and rich and resonant. It's quite light and airy. It's beautiful nonetheless, so it's an easy reach, I would say, but I feel like it will do a lot more better in colder weather, but it's not offensive, it's not obnoxious, it's not foodie, and that is one of the reasons why I love this. So this is going to be from the brand Volet, and it's called vanilla floral. It's beautiful. So let's move on to Hayakat Atta. I love their range when it comes to the abiyat. There's got a few, the Eagle Puff and cherries, and a few that I have from the brand. And I picked up Desert Love. This is being marketed as a strong honey scent, and yes, it is. Let me just look for the notes here and give you. So the notes in this one includes honey. There's at the top, in the middle, there is lily of the valley. There's violet and rose. At the base, there is sandalwood, vanilla, musk, and then gourmand accord. I wouldn't say it is the most gourmand thing. This is the bottle. Desert Love is beautiful and simple. And what I get for the most part is going to be honey. A very clean, non-animalic, not animalic at all. Honey fragrances can sometimes be animalic, but this one is not. It's me honey, not it's like more of a very clean, non-animalic not necessarily the most foodie honey, but I still get a realistic, lightweight, airy, breezy honey that can be worn year round. It is new, so I'm waiting for it to mature. I feel like it's going to get a lot more thicker with maturation. It's very new. And I feel the honey is going to pick through a lot. It has honey and some florals. I get the florals, which are very light and airy, making it very beautiful. If you're a floral lover, I think you appreciate this. If you're a gourmand lover, you will still appreciate this one, but it's not your foodie, thick, syrupy. It's not your resonant, decadent, thick, syrupy honey. It's not. It's more of a breathable, light, airy, floral honey, feel. It sort of reminds me of Montal's honey oud, toned down with the oud. Consider it as honey oud in a way, or even honeyed fantasy from Paris Corner, which I have at my back here. It's not the most similar, but that's sort of same scent family, but with very little roots. This one has very little roots, no wood at all, very little roots, but more floral. And that's sort of very similar honey I find in honey at wood and then honeyed fantasy from Paris Corner. It's quite similar, but this one feels like a lot more lighter. If you're not a fan of the wood in that DNA, you would enjoy this one more. But I'm only waiting for this one to mature a little more because I feel it has the potential to amp up in the honey. I would love to witness and experience that. So this is Desert Love from Hayakat Atta. It's so pretty, so delicate, beautiful. It just screams beautiful, lightweight, fresh in a way, inoffensive, non-animalic, but still a very realistic honey. So this is Desert Desire, and I'll give you more details about it as it sits. So a few years ago, I had this particular fragrance. I think I've even done a full video on reintroducing it to my collection. Opulent Red from Latafa. About 3 years ago, I had it, decluttered it, and got a decant from my friend. Yeah, I wanted to try it again, so I asked her for a decant. She sent me over the decant. I fell in love immediately with the decant. I called. I was like, "Yeah, what is happening to me? I now love Opulent Red." And then she followed up with this bottle. She gifted me this bottle, and I'm so happy to have reintroduced this to my collection. This is so beautiful. Maybe the older me is appreciating this one a lot more. I enjoy this one a lot more. That jasmine, tuberose, very heavy indolic florals, very heady. It can be quite heady, and the boozy cognac. I think I didn't understand this fragrance at all. I never did understand this fragrance when it was like fairly new, and I was quite, I didn't know what I was doing at some point, just testing out some fragrances. But this is so beautiful. It's so bold and bewitching. It's just a bewitching scent. That is how I can simply describe it. The boozy, agarwood, slightly barnyardy in a way, but there's something very captivating and alluring and matured, about this. Not a lot of people are going to appreciate this, including myself. Like the younger me, never appreciated this one, but I love this. This is so beautiful. It doesn't scream beautiful. It screams confident and bold and matured and, just power. It screams power. Very bold and beautiful, matured woman, grown woman, cougar in a way, that is what this one screams to me. So thanks to Ya, I have reintroduced Opulent Red from Latafa into my collection. I've seen a lot of KLE dupes. I have a lot of KLE dupes, full bottles, sample sizes, a lot of them. But nothing has really come out when it comes to the Udgazim Vanilla, Vanilla Udgazim something something. I'll look for the name and put it down. But then Valor, this is a house I'm getting more interested in because I've seen they have very affordable, lower sort of tier price points when it comes to Middle Eastern fragrances, and they still deliver for the most part. I love the few Valor fragrances that I have, including the this one, vanilla floral. So this is Le Ali Oud blend. They have a lot of these Le Ali brands. I never really paid attention to them. I guess for like I just don't like how they copy the bottle and everything. But when it comes to this particular scent profile, I wanted to get it just because I don't have anything that is marketed as a dupe for the KLE one, the Udgasm Vanilla, 36, I think. And this one has a note of saffron, praline, pear at the top. In the middle, there is Bulgarian rose. In the base, there is vanilla, there is sugar, there is agarwood, there is white musk, and then oak moss. This is beautiful. This is very beautiful. Does it remind me of the original one from KLE? Yes, it does, but I feel this one feels a little lightweight and so watered down at this point. I'm waiting for on it for about a week or two to mature, but it's a good representation of the scent. I love the scent. It's a deeper, non-sweet vanilla scent, a very non-foody yet also dominant vanilla scent with the woods. I don't necessarily get like a barnyardy woody feel. It's more woody than an actual any sort of wood. It doesn't remind me of anything wood. It's basically a woody, vanilla and sweetened one. And there's something that reminds me of a leather accord. There's this sort of leather accord that is so soft and gentle about this, although it doesn't have anything leather. Something about this reminds me of fucking fabulous from Tom Ford. There's something about this that reminds me of that scent, you know. There's something about it, that sort of pulls similar to me, to my nose. But this is good, just that it's very lightweight, very airy, creamy, and sweetened vanilla with the woods and the praline and pear. I get all those things, the rose, I get all those, but very well blended to the extent that you can't really pick anything as the most dominant note, very beautifully blended. But I feel and it's so watered down at this point. I think I'm going to wait on this one for a while. I feel it's going to mature, but I also feel it's not going to give me, I don't know, I'm just going to be optimistic here. I hope it matures and becomes a lot more thicker and stronger. Longevity is not the best at this point. Maybe around 3 hours, which is good. 3 hours for this one on skin is good, and then around 5-6 hours you can reapply. I don't have any particular issue with this. I love the scent profile, but it's not as deep and dark, as the Udgasm Vanilla 36, I believe. So I'll let it sit for a while and then report back on it. But I think it's a very good I wouldn't say every day. You can wear it as an everyday scent, but it's very warm and cuddly and cozy. It gives you that sort of warm, cozy feel with the vanilla and sweetened. I love that the vanilla is not like super foody and sweet and girly. It's not the most girliest of vanilla, fragrances, but it's unisex, but a little more warm and comforting, comforting. So that is going to be from Valor Vanilla Blend. Yeah, Oud Blend. Yeah. And the last one is a decant I picked up. I want to feature Mia Dolceza from Maison Alhambra. I want to feature it in other videos, but I wanted to try this one, It's been known to be inspired by Valentino Born in Roma, which I like the original one, but it's never been a love for me. I have sampled that a few times. It's beautiful, it's pretty, black currant, vanilla, syrupy and beautiful. But it never really spoke to me. But Mia Dolceza from Maison Alhambra, I'll give you the details about it, but I'm not super impressed. Probably because the scent profile is not one that I gravitate towards or I'll consider full bottle worthy, even with the original one. I know it was super popular at some point. It's a cult favorite. It was never my favorite. It's still not my favorite. So I decided to go with the decant to try it out. And yeah, I'm not really a fan of this one, so I'm not going to pick up any full bottle, but I think I'm going to give you more details. Does it remind me of the original one? Yes, it does, but this one feels a little more screechy in a way, and I'll give you all those, pros and cons when it comes to comparison with the original one. So these are the fragrances I picked up, just very few bottles, but I wanted to let you know anyway. And yeah, that is going to be it for today. And I hope this video found you well. So please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.